Hello, everybody. This is Julissa. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much to everybody who's listening right now in the podcast and watching right here on Spotify. Today is Tuesday, December the 9th, 2025. I'm here to speak about something very sensitive, so I'm going to give you a trigger warning before I continue. It's very, even I kind of froze when I heard about this, and I couldn't believe that somebody will do that to a person that they're supposed to be taking care of. Before I continue, when I wanted to give you a trigger warning, I also wanted to say thank you so much to everybody who has been listening using Spotify. Like I said in previous episodes, we had a great year on Spotify. Thank you guys so much for following the podcast. That helps me as a creator. And thank you to everybody who's sharing the podcast. And I also, like I said, this is why I'm trying to do videos on Spotify, because I noticed that the videos are doing a little better on Spotify compared to just the audio. So thank you guys so much. And if you're listening to Spotify, I always put the episodes on YouTube as a video format, so you can also probably watch it on YouTube, which is a better camera than this one that I'm using here for Spotify. Thank you guys so much for listening, and everybody who has been subscribing and watching the videos on YouTube. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. So, I came yesterday or the day before, and I showed you guys. I did the episode in Spanish, and I did the It's about the lady who was harassed at the subway in New York City, and things that are happening is like really that person just basically assaulted somebody like that, and you couldn't believe it. But this case is about a woman who had cops call on her because she actually put her one of her children in a dog kennel in the backyard. So, and they heard screaming, and then the neighbors called the police. And this is a 22-year-old woman that she was taking care of, a person with disabilities. The foster mom put her inside a cage made for dogs outside. And neighbors heard the screaming and they called the police. So let me give you more details about what happened. That's why I wanted to give you the trigger warning, because it's just so devastating that somebody had to go through something like this. And there's a video on TikTok. I just watched it. It's so devastating just to hear her crying out for help. And then the woman comes out. Her foster mom comes out when the neighbors got involved and all of that, and she's saying, "Yeah, I put her there." Like, that's not normal. Do you understand? You don't put another human being in a cage for dogs. So let me just read to you guys exactly what happened here. A Texas foster mom has been arrested after a mentally disabled young woman was found locked in a dog kennel in her backyard by a neighbor who heard her pitiful screams. Candy Thompson, 60 years old, is now facing multiple charges, including aggravated kidnapping, assault, and crimes related to the abuse of a disabled person, following the barbaric discovery at the property in Anson, Texas on November 22nd. So it just happened right before Thanksgiving, I guess you can say. So, excuse me, the shocking find, don't want to lose the article here. The shocking find was made after the neighbor, Justin Anderson, reportedly heard the young woman crying for help and saying she needed to go to the bathroom. Just screaming, "I have to pee, I'm scared." Then you hear banging like a chain, like a fence. And this is what the neighbor Justin was saying. He actually went on TikTok. If you have TikTok, you can go and see his video where he's describing basically everything that happened there, right? And officers responded and they located a 22-year-old female locked in the backyard of the residency. Like, that's insane. Like, I don't understand what's going on. At the time of the arrest, 2 adult foster children were present in the home. Thompson, who is known locally for adopting over 50 foster children with her late husband, a former Anson police chief, he tried to justify her actions. This is what the lady said after the arrest. She claimed the young woman in her care was urinating everywhere and tearing her house up, which is why she put her outside. Like, if a person is going through something like that, and they go to that point, and you can no longer take care of them, there are places where you bring people like that, right? That they're able to help them with dignity, right? And they're able to give them the help that they need. You don't put them outside because they're urinating everywhere, right? If anything, if this is like a emergency type of a situation, you take them to the hospital, right? It's just so crazy that. Sorry, I'm looking at photos of it right now. It's just so crazy that in her mind, like she had already adopted 50 kids. They're saying she's known in the neighborhood for that. Like, all of that should be investigated, right? Because how can she be allowed to continue to do the same, like, right? Because one thing about us humans, we never do one thing just once, right? The majority of us, we are we repeat things, right? So, I mean, she has a history of adopting kids. I wonder what, after the investigation, what else they're gonna find, right? Like, it reminds me of I don't know their name exactly. I don't know the family name, but years ago there was a young girl also who called the police. She said she escaped her house, a very nice looking house too, right? They lived. It was like so many of the children that lived there. They were like in early 20s, and they looked like they were 15 because they were malnourished. And one of them escaped and called the authorities. And she, when she was she called the police, and she waited for the cop to get there, right? You guys probably can remember the story. And when the cop got there, like, this young lady said, "My brothers are in the house tied up in chains." And like, this goes on in people's houses, like, that's crazy for years and years, right? Um, just this type of psychological abuse is crazy. It's so sad that some people have to go through something like that, right? They have so many children, and a lot of they have, like, all of them, they were just allowed to come out of the room and kind of have food when there was food available, or they were allowed to eat because they wouldn't feed them at all. So they will give them little food, and then the rest of the time they will have to be in the room, in the bed, tied up with chains. And that's just crazy. That when I heard about this case, about the woman putting this her foster child in the backyard in the dog kennel, I immediately thought about that other rescue that happened. I don't know if it was like 2019 or something like this, but it was just so sad that, like I said, that people have to go through that in life. The victim, it says here, is safe and the lady is in Candy Thompson is in custody, it says here. So for the city of Anson, Texas, we take it very seriously, and we are serious about protecting especially our most vulnerable citizens. I wonder how long she has been living in that house with that mom, right? I wonder, because usually, from my understanding, is that usually when people adopt children, they get, like, sometimes social services will get involved, and they have to visit the house and all of that, and see the conditions that the children live in, to let it be like a home that is suitable for them to be raised in. And I mean, she's 22, but she's disabled, so she has disability, excuse me. So I wonder, like, when was the last time the social worker went visit that house, right? It makes you wonder, like, this woman said that she's known in town for adopting kids, and she had already adopted over 50 children. Like, her mind, like, I'm going back to her mindset. Put her in a cage outside. That's something. It's something off there. And like I said, if anything, I'm glad that the neighbors did something, right? But if anything, every other child that was in her care at one point should be like, I want them to do a full investigation, obviously, because that's crazy for her to, like, if you see her in the video, the way she comes out, the lady, after the police is involved, she comes out like, yeah, I put her in the cage because she was urinating, like, kind of like, what do you want me to do, really? That says a lot right there. So I want to see what some of the comments people are saying. Somebody said, oh, just lost the comments for a moment. Give me 2 seconds if I can. So what I was saying earlier was, I wonder how long she been living in that house, because I mean, the reason that I say that, because when you hear about cases of this type of abuse, normally the cage is prepared to fit the victim, right? Like, people, you know, it's not like, oh yeah, she's gonna go in the dog kennel, and like had she used that before in the past? That's my whole point. How did she just did that just once? Or maybe the one time she did it and the neighbors were not around, right? So I wonder if this has happened before. So let me see the comments. It's so hard sometimes to read some of these things because, well, somebody said this is so disgusting. I don't care about others' 2 cents on this one. Justification on this surface, the decline of humanity. This is not okay. I agree with her. The lack of group home for vulnerable adults is money-making scheme that the state judges and politicians are making bank. Thank God for Justin's alertness, for his remaining calm, for saying the right things, and his steadfast courage. Justin is the neighbor who called the police. So yeah, thank God, because sometimes people are afraid to even help other people. That's what we saw in that video from the lady in the train. Like, people are afraid to even help other people, to get involved. Nobody wants to get involved, right? So I was trying to read you guys more comments, but they're not loading right now. But yeah, this is, like I said, this is a very crazy story. I am glad that she was able to get the help that she needed, and they're saying that she's in stable condition, and that the other lady got arrested. So that's the good thing. We'll see if they release more information about exactly what went on that house. I'm sure it's crazy, and because she has a history of adopting kids, so I wonder if they're gonna do a full investigation. I mean, I hope so. So let me know, guys, what you think about this. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming to the channel. Thank you to everybody who's listening to the podcast. Have a good day. God bless.